It is the first Saturday of the month. Welcome to KTN Weekend Prime. Thank you so much for joining us. We have all the top stories for you live on air and online, www.standardmedia.co.ke. Let's start off with the top story and these reactions following that Lamu land directive by the President. And Siaya Senator James Orengo tonight has criticized Lands Cabinet Secretary Charity Ngilu, accusing her of engaging in diversionary tactics on land grabbing at the coast. Now, he was reacting to Ngilu's claims yesterday that he was responsible for dishing out over 70% of land in Lamu County. Now, as Patrick Amimo reports, the Jubilee Coalition and the opposition have quickly jumped onto this new controversy, taking on each other with accusations and demands for answers.
It's because of you.
The former Lands Minister James Orengo got the support of his ODM family as he reacted to Lands Cabinet Secretary Charity Ngilu's statement over the alleged grabbing of Lamu land. Ngilu wants Orengo to tell Kenyans how an alleged 500,000 acres of land was grabbed in Lamu under his watch. Speaking in Dholo dialect, CORD leader Raila Odinga said Orengo was clean. James Orengo also defended himself against the accusations.
And I'm telling the Land Commission that Orengo is prepared to work with you. And if you need me anytime, I'm prepared. And to give you all the facts. Not about one land, but every piece of land in Kenya. Because land grabbing started in 1902.
So you cannot talk about land problems of a coalition government without mentioning Kibaki.
To Madam Ngilu, stop seeking political relevance through cheap politics and backstabbing and blackmailing.
The ODM lawmakers say the executive was usurping the roles and mandate of the National Land Commission. They argued the president does not have power to revoke title deeds.
Constitution removed the power of giving out title deeds, the power of alienating land, the power of managing both public land and private, and gave all this to the National Land Commission. Uhuru and Ngilu have no role at all in terms of managing land.
If 22 people have taken 70% of the land in Lamu, there are only 2 people who have more than 70% of the land in Taita Taveta, and Uhuru is one of them. So Uhuru should go and revoke his title in Taita Taveta kwanza, kabla haja revoke title ya wengine.
Truth, Justice and Reconciliation report is where the answer lies. And Uhuru knows where that problem is.
The MP spoke at Awindo Village, Karachonyo constituency in Homa Bay County during the burial of former Karachonyo MP and Minister for Planning, Dr. Adhu Awiti. CORD leader Raila Odinga saluted the late Awiti for his role in the struggle for second liberation and reddening of democratic space in Kenya. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
Now, even as Orengo defended himself, leaders allied to the Jubilee Coalition lashed out at CORD for opposing the move by the government to repossess land in Lamu. Deputy President William Ruto questioned those defending individuals named over their alleged involvement in the grabbing of land in Lamu.
The fundraiser at Siakago Boys Secondary School in Embu County provided the opportunity to fry those accused of involvement in the grabbing of up to 500,000 acres of Lamu land.
Wamechukua 500,000 acres of land, 70% of arable land in Lamu, and you expect the Jubilee government to stay silent and stay mum and let things stay as they are.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Thursday announced that a Ministry of Land audit showed that 70% of the land in Lamu had been grabbed between April and November 2012. The titles were reportedly allocated to 30 companies. This allegedly happened during the rule of the coalition government of former President Mwai Kibaki and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Siaya Senator and CORD luminary James Orengo, who served as Lands Minister then, has been asked by the Lands Cabinet Secretary Charity Ngilu to tell Kenyans how this happened.
The irony of the whole of this thing is that those who perpetuated this criminal enterprise have been telling us and pointing fingers at others that they are land grabbers. They themselves, now, they have made those ones they have been accusing as land grabbers to look like amateurs.
Change ni kuja kusema wezi wasiguzwe. Hiyo ndio change.
Uhuru has ordered immediate revocation of all land title deeds issued during that period in Lamu County. The Jubilee leaders want the government to also go after those who allegedly facilitated the allocation of the Lamu land.
Sisi kama bunge tunangojea next week watu waanze kushikwa na Wakenya kuambiwa ni nani hawa watu.
We are not going to allow a few people using powers that are not legitimate to allocate themselves and their friends 70% of a county and then posture to us that it is unconstitutional.
The former lands minister, his permanent secretary Dorothy Angote, and the former commissioner for lands are all required to record statements detailing their involvement. Wilkisanyabwa, KTN.
Now, political analysts are now saying that CORD leader Raila Odinga's game plan in the push for a referendum may be a lot more intricate than most people realize. After using the 2005 referendum to totally overhaul the political landscape in Kenya, the analysts say Raila's opponents may want to study his steps a little more closely in the coming days. Here's KTN's senior reporter Sam Ogina with that analysis.
He has thrived in political controversy, making fodder of murky waters to re-engineer himself. But after promising a tsunami and only delivering a referendum push, pundits are questioning the political agility of the CORD leader, Raila Odinga.
Now we believe that the 20%, the time to rectify that 20% is now. You see? And there are pertinent issues that cannot be carried forward. The issues that are of great importance to the nation.
Either the man is on something, or he is deluded, or truly the tsunami will come. But in my view, if he is not deluded or if he is not smoking something, then it must be that he has something up his sleeve, and that is not the referendum. Because he cannot have promised us that a tsunami is coming, and then the tsunami becomes a referendum. That would be a big joke.
Saying the referendum push is a decoy of a much bigger plot if the real Odinga factor still bubbles inside the former premier. With CORD's committee of experts still at preliminary stages on the referendum quest, delivering the plebiscite in 2014 might be a long shot, an assertion CORD lieutenants are fully aware of.
After the signatures are done, it is taken to the IEBC for framing of the questions and everything, I think. After the 1 million signatures is done, then the IEBC will send it to the county.
And analysts have drawn parallels with the 2005 referendum. While the 2005 question was on the ratification of the WACO draft that Raila successfully campaigned against in the Orange team, Raila is championing yet another referendum. In a strategy that appears to mirror the 2005 referendum campaign, with only 2 years to the 2007 election, Raila galvanized his referendum win to create a momentum that tilted scales in the general election. Might he be headed into a repeat strategy with the 2017 election not so far away?
For Raila, he doesn't need to have a referendum. The people who voted for him in 2013 are still with him. I can assure you that one. He does not need a referendum to keep them.
He doesn't need to create a momentum.
He doesn't need to create momentum. Himself, as Raila, is an institution. So the people who are with him will remain with him as that institution.
So a tsunami does not warn you that it is coming. It grows little by little. And when the earth shakes, that's when the waves begin to gain a momentum. And the tsunami, the high waves hit you. And I think that that's probably what he's cooking. And I'm saying that because if you listen to one man called Boni Halwale, repeatedly he has said that. He said that we are going to put an impeachment motion. And when they were doing it on Nan Waigoro, they were testing the waters.
As such, CORD has begun a cleanup of its house, sifting away dissidents and rewarding loyalists. The dissidents perceived to be warming up to the ruling Jubilee Alliance. After axing its deputy minority leader Gideon Mungaro, sources in CORD claim 3 more legislators may face the axe for their defiance of the coalition's leadership. Essentially, the coalition sending signals of revamping its team for a battle. Whether that battle is the referendum or otherwise is anyone's guess. Samugina, KTN.
Well, let's move away from politics for a moment. Now, as thousands of aspiring teachers prepare to battle it out for the vacancies announced by the Teachers Service Commission this week, there are those who are anxious about the details of that recruitment. A section of those who have just left teacher training colleges are afraid of the impact of the large number of older graduates who have been waiting for a long time to be absorbed into the teaching service.
The announcement by the Teachers Service Commission about the start of recruitment of about 10,000 new teachers excited the sector. Many potential teachers dusted their CVs as recruitment centers awaited the circulars to kick off the intake. But the regulation that those who graduated more than 5 years ago will have an upper hand in the application process has created anxiety among some new graduates. 26-year-old Nancy Masibo graduated in 2010 with a P1 certificate in education.
Napendelea kuajiriwa na public kwa sababu kuna job security huko na pia kuna ile benefits ambazo utapata ukiretire.
She has since prepared her papers and sent an application for a position as a primary school teacher at the Education Board office in Nairobi County, and she is not alone. Miles away in Voi Town, 2 other hopefuls from Wanyambo Primary School are optimistic that they will be able to switch from PTA teachers to employed TSC teachers.
I've tried also applications when the vacancy for recruitment of teachers has been introduced or has been advertised. I've also tried that, but I've not gotten any chance.
Still waiting and hoping God that we'll get a vacancy to be employed by the government.
Since their graduation, they have had to volunteer at the school, a position they say is just temporary. They now await a more secure chance at the TSC. The government pumped 2.3 billion shillings this year towards recruiting 4,350 teachers. Stakeholders, however, say this is just a drop in the ocean.
When we hear that only 5,000 will be, maybe 5,000 to replace those that are exiting and 5,000 to apply for the positions, we join the Secretary General of NAT in saying that this is a drop in the ocean.
What then does the Teachers Union prefer the government to do?
The government must come out of its shell and address the issue of quality education.
The application period closes on the 11th of this month.
Mombasa is expected to come alive next week with the arrival of over 130,000 visitors from learning institutions. At least 124,000 students are expected to participate in the 2-week music festival, while 10,000 primary school heads will be congregating for a conference. And as Ferdinand Omondi now reports, the Mombasa security agencies are not taking any chances.
Mombasa may be a congested city from next week when at least 120,000 students swarm in for the music festival. That figure is larger than the entire population of Lamu County. They will perform in 10 halls and sleep in 3 counties.
The festival will take place from the 4th to 15th of August. We expect children to start traveling back to their places on 17th of August.
It will be a major mix ranging from toddlers in early childhood education to university students. Event organizers and county administrators of Kwale, Kilifi and Mombasa counties, which will host them, have set up several measures to ensure the safety and well-being of the children throughout the festival. Top on the list is a ban on hawking.
We will not allow any hawking activities to happen at the venue of the festival. This is to just secure the safety of our children.
The announcement is a big blow to traders in Mombasa who usually get a windfall selling everything from sweets to soft drinks. Pubs in all 3 counties have also been put on notice. The 11 p.m. rule shall be enforced.
Baa zote ndani ya mji huu by saa 5 ziwe zimefungwa. By saa 5. Night clubs, that is a different case. Ni katika ile hali ya kuhakikisha kwamba umepunguza zile sehemu ambazo criminals wanaweza kuindulge.
Accommodation arrangements have already been finalized and security has been tightened at all travel routes, performance and accommodation venues where the students will use. The visitors' explosion coincides with schools closing and a somewhat increased tourist numbers from abroad. In addition, some 10,000 primary school heads congregate for a conference which begins on Monday in Mombasa. The security bosses now want the public to help in keeping the region safe.
Piga simu, patiana information, because security is you and me, so that tusaidiane kuhakikisha kwamba tumeboresha uchumi wa sehemu hizi zetu.
Most schools are expected to arrive from Sunday. Ferdinand Omondi, KTN, Mombasa.
The Media Council has shaken the world of middle-level journalism colleges with the announcement that the colleges will be vetted afresh to prove they deserve to exist. While some journalism lecturers and students think this is a timely intervention, others are not so sure. Dokas Wengera reports.
Hali ya wasiwasi inaendelea kutanda katika eneo hili la Mathare.
Journalism, a profession unlike any other.
Afternoon and welcome to this edition of KTN.
Every day, journalists gather and prepare the news for a public that heavily relies on the media to know what is happening around the world. Because of the trust the public places on the journalists, how and where they are trained has remained a critical issue. The Media Council of Kenya is now moving in to vet mid-level journalism colleges. All this is to establish whether they conform to the set standards as stipulated in the Media Council Act of 2013. Professor Michael Ambete, the Deputy Principal of the East African School of Media Studies, notes why this is necessary.
I actually welcome the Media Council's initiative. Bring up a journalist who, when left alone, can perform.
In a statement released to the press, the Media Council has set up a committee that will commence the college inspection in 2 months. Likewise, a curriculum for the mid-level colleges has now been vetted and certified by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development.
There are these try-ons, I should call them, if you allow me to invade that word. There are those who come in because it's happening. That someone opened a college. Can you do the same? Those are the ones who are actually making a bad image for us. Can you imagine they offer diplomas in 6 months? One diploma that will be offered to everyone else that does journalism at diploma level.
The reaction of mid-level college students to the curriculum and the anticipated vetting of colleges has, however, been mixed.
It's not necessary for all media colleges to have the same curriculum.
It's a nice way whereby it can be able to eliminate quacks.
I think this will help us if that issue is addressed.
According to MCK, all colleges ought to have equal standards and quality. Examinations offered should be responsive to the emerging issues. Competence requirements in journalism must be met. The evaluation will ensure that only those that go through the standard curriculum have the opportunity to practice as journalists and are good enough to pursue further professional training in the universities. Dorcas Wangira, KTN.
All right, ensuring high standards even within the media. Let's take you to Uganda now, where gay rights campaigners there and around the world are celebrating a decision by the country's constitutional court to invalidate a widely condemned anti-gay law. The law was thrown out after a petition filed by civil rights groups. Here is more on this story.
The Ugandan Constitutional Court handed the gay community and their supporters and sympathizers their good news, declaring the anti-gay law null and void.
Anti-homosexuality law is a nullity
So all trials and proceedings, whether criminal or civil, arising under this act, the various people arrested across this country will then have to be stopped because that law doesn't exist.
The beginning of a whole very long battle, and we're still going on to fight this battle because we think there's still many challenges. Like I said, the law has been struck on technicalities, so the big picture is still there.
On Tuesday, civil activists moved to court to challenge the law, which has triggered a sharp increase in arrests and assault of members of the country's gay community. The United Nations welcomed the ruling, terming it as a victory for the rule of law. The law was declared void based on a technicality, as it had been passed without the necessary quorum of lawmakers. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni assented to the law in February, recommending that homosexuals be jailed for life. It also outlawed the promotion of homosexuality and obliged Ugandans to denounce gays and report them to the authorities. Despite the threat of sanctions to Uganda over the anti-homosexuality law, the Ugandan president was quick to point out that the sanctions would have little impact on the country's economy.
But on the issue of aid cuts, that one I can help you straight away. I don't have to wait for the caucus to tell me. What has happened to Uganda now? Have you seen any catastrophe? Those who cut aid, isn't the economy growing?
Homosexuality in Uganda remains illegal and punishable by jail sentences under a previous legislation, which is expected to return after the court's decision. The government spokesman Ofuondo Opondo has stated that the law is still valid. Homophobia is widespread in Uganda as well as other African countries where American-style evangelical Christianity is on the rise.
Let's carry on with other news now. And the mother to Mukurweini MP Kabando was buried today as leaders called for concerted efforts to fight drug trafficking in the country. Kabando's brother, accused of hacking his mother to death, is said to have been suffering from a serious case of drug addiction. Our reporter Carol Nderi attended the funeral and brings us the following story.
It was the burial ceremony for the late Rose Washera Mwangi Kabando, mother to MP Kabando wa Kabando in Ngamwa area of Mukurweini. As leaders consoled the MP, what took center stage was the manner in which the deceased lost her life. Her son Caesar Thiari allegedly hacked her to death last Sunday. The family has since admitted that Thiari, the last born of the family and who is currently in police custody over the murder, has struggled with drug addiction for over a decade. The 23 members of parliament and other leaders present condemned those behind drug trafficking in the country.
Nisikia kwa nyumba kuna mzazi anasema nataka kupigwa na mtoto yake, enda haraka saidia atauawa haraka.
Muhakikishe hakuna hiyo pombe ya haramu, hakuna hiyo madawa ya kulevya.
Kama ni mambo ya siasa, mtu anakuja na pesa chungu nzima, anapelekea wananchi wanamchagua na hajui hiyo pesa ilitoka kuuza dawa ya kulevya.
They know who are selling these drugs, where, and they can apprehend them anytime they choose to.
Nakada chairman John Mututho sought to assure Kenyans that the fight against substance abuse was on, but would require the input of all stakeholders.
Wale polisi ambao wanashiriki katika mihadarati, they should also be charged under the same act of 1984. It is not possible that mtu ameketi hapa ni drug addict ananunua kila siku na watu wako na hajashikwa.
The Cabinet Secretary for Infrastructure, Michael Kamau, who read President Uhuru Kenyatta's tribute, said the government had stepped up the fight against the vice and had made considerable steps.
JKIA, kila siku sasa tunanasa. Kila siku. It's only we are not sending it to the press, but I tell you, we are arresting very, very many people at JKIA.
Politics also found its way in the burial, with some supporting President Uhuru for his revocation of title lands for 22 entities in Lamu. Those who took to the podium said former Lands Minister James Orengo had questions to answer over the same.
I did not know that James Orengo was shouting the loudest because he knew what he did when he was the Minister of Lands. Alikuwa anaficha vitendo alivyofanya saidi alikuwa waziri.
I want to laud the president for revoking the titles in Lamu. And I want the National Land Commission and the Cabinet Secretary Lands to give effect to the president's edit so that it can have the force of law.
Na tunajua wakati huu ndio file unaenda huko kwa registrar zinapotea.
Zikipotea hata wale wako huko wapotee.
While paying their last respects to Mama Rose Washera Kabando, the leaders present asked the relevant authorities to ensure that the drug menace was dealt with once and for all, especially seeing the damage that it has caused families. Carol Derry, KTN, Mokorone, Nyeri County.
And to some more tragic news. Now, you may remember 45-year-old Godwin Chepkurgor, who at one time vowed to marry the daughter of former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Well, he has passed on. Godwin Chepkurgor was attacked by an elephant at Oldebis in Mogotio, Baringo County. Kamche Menza has the details.
This is where the once famous Godwin Chepkurgor met his death at around 6:30 last evening. Now traces of blood and destroyed trees bearing testimony to the struggle that ensued as Chepkurgor fought for his life. Shocked residents recall how they saw the elephants make their way into the bushes as the villagers ran uphill to monitor them before KWS officials arrived.
Maka kitu saa 12 ndio walianza kustoa sasa. Wakafuku sawa. Wenye walistuliwa ndio wakaenda kufika huko juu, wakakataa, wakasimama. Alafu baadaye tena wakaenda mpaka huko wakastua tena wakarudi, wakakuja kusimama mahali hapo juu kwa miti.
As darkness fell, however, the residents say they came downhill and stood beside the KWS vehicles. Others, however, remained at a far-end hill and watched over.
Kidogo huyo jamaa akarudi kama amepiga picha karibu 6 hivi. Akanionyesha hiyo picha yenye alikuwa amepiga. Tukaangalia, alafu akatuambia alikuwa ametishwa na hiyo ndovu, akakimbishwa kidogo.
Sasa akaambiwa usiruti tena. Usiende tena. Anasema mimi nimesomea mimi na uchusi na hii mnyama.
The residents, however, say they do not know how the late Godwin found his way back to the bushes.
Kama tunafanya na kupunguza hapo. Akalete mpaka hapo na sina sikia anasema hoyane. Sasa sina hiyo tu pekee yake alisema hivyo.
Godwin was later found seriously injured and unconscious. He is, however, said to have lost his life at the Rift Valley General Hospital. The family now carrying on with burial arrangements. However, say Godwin was on his way home from a place known as Kisanana when the elephants attacked him.
Bado tuna uchungu, tunasikitika na tunaomba serikali hasa ministry la nahusika warudishe wanyama pale walikuwa natoka na wachungi wasicho wakikuja.
The villagers say this is not the first time they see the stray elephants, especially during dry seasons. And since no one gets closer to them, the elephants remain harmless. Chepkurgor has left behind a wife and 4 children. Kamche Menza, KTN, Nakuru.
Less than 2 weeks from now, on the 13th of August, the world will be marking the Left-Handed People's Day. Now, if that caught you unawares, don't worry, you're not alone. Many other Kenyans did not know that either. Now, as KTN found out, left-handed people feel they have been ignored, especially when important appliances and furniture are manufactured, with designers failing to cater for those that have to work with their hands from the left side. Take a look at this story.
Ruth Vadi is a nursery school child at Kalela Primary School in Taita Taveta County. She is among the hundreds of thousands of left-handed people in Kenya.
Wale wenye wana shida sana ni hao wa mkono wa kushoto, ambao ukiwa sasa unamweleza kitu kwa dakika moja inapotea kwa akili yake.
She's not aware of the many challenges ahead of her as a left-handed child. Some people believe that there's a lot of discrimination meted on left-handed people in the worlds of technology, religion, and also traditionally. Victoria Munga, a left-handed journalist, says she has gone through it all.
Nilizaliwa nikiwa natumia mkono wa kushoto, na mara nyingi sana wazazi wangu hasa mamangu walijaribu sana kunifundisha kutumia huu mkono mwingine wa kulia, lakini ikawa ni ngumu.
In the classroom, Vadi is forced to sit on the far left side of the desk in order not to interfere with others who use their right hand. Vadi uses her left hand in all she does, even in eating. She tried eating with the right hand, but it proved to be too hard.
Nimejaribu sana kumrekebisha aandike na mkono wa right, but ikashindikana. Na alianza kutumia huo mkono kuandika na hiyo left as akiwa nasari. Hata akiwa mdogo tu unaona dalili yake.
People have different beliefs about the left hand.
It has been forbidden Muslim to use that hand. Kuna kitu inaitwa baraka. You can eat and but where's cheaper? Yani ni kama shetani na kula na wewe.
Dr. Kinoti Ndege is a neurologist. He brings a scientific angle to the debate about left-handed people.
So one might ask then, why are the majority of people right-handed? To extend the question, one would ask then, why is brain function lateralized? When the two sides of my brain are doing different things, that makes it more efficient than if it was all being done in the same network.
Despite the challenges, quite a number of left-handed people have risen to be icons in the world. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Barack Obama, as well as popular TV host Oprah Winfrey, are left-handed.
Left-handed people have an advantage because right-handed people have been cultured against other right-handed people because they are the majority.
The 13th of August every year has been set aside as the World Left-Handed People's Day. However, many Kenyans seem unaware of this day.
World Left-Handed Day. Why guy more than mimi sijasikia kitu kama hiyo.
To be honest, I've never heard of the celebration of the left-handed people.
I like that he's shocked at that. Yes, well, so that day for the left-handed people will be marked a week and a half from now. But yesterday, the world celebrated yet another group of people, twins. And here in Nairobi, of course, hundreds of sets of identical twins met at the Arboretum Gardens for the belated celebrations. Many of the twins say there are still parents who are scared of bringing up twins, fearing the cost of taking care of them. Some are also jittery because of many African myths about having twins in the family. But the twins insist it is quite a joy sharing a birthday on the same day.
Society takes us as not serious because we are twins. So the moment they say you two, they play around with you, which is okay. We really like it. People never take us as individuals, which is not good sometimes because I am punished for his crimes sometimes. But as a twin, it's amazing. It feels good when people turn to say, wow, you're twins.
Yeah, I know. We have twins in the family, so it is always such a blessing. Over in Uganda, as a couple of people here would tell you, like Nancy Kachingira, twins are an absolute blessing. Thousands of foreign and domestic tourists thronged the beaches of Malindi to participate in the inaugural Watamu Beach Rugby. It was a major boost for tourism industry in Kilifi County, which had almost collapsed due to a myriad of factors. Most hotels in Malindi and Watamu recorded good bookings following the two-day rugby tournament that has been organized by the Kilifi County government in a bid to revive tourism. Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, who also participated in the beach rugby, said they will be organizing a series of similar sports in the future. Most hotels in the county had actually been shut down and more than 3,000 workers laid off due to lack of tourists following cases of insecurity in the neighboring counties of Tana River, Lamu and Mombasa.
Na kusema kweli nafikiri ni tamasha ambayo imeenda vyema, mkiangalia nyinyi wenyewe bila hapa kumejaa, na kungejaa zaidi laiti ingekuwa ni weekend ndefu. Maana tumepokea simu kutoka kwa Wakenya wengi. Katika social media tumepata comments nyingi kwamba kwa nini jambo zuri kama hili linawekwa katika weekend fupi. Wangependa liwekwe katika weekend ambayo kidogo ni ndefu, ili watu kutoka Kisumu, kutoka Nairobi, kutoka pande zote za nchi wanaweza kuja nyumbani.
This month's Eve Women Day was held today under the theme Turning Side Hustles into Profitable Businesses. The discussion was aimed at enlightening women on how to conduct and manage their businesses outside the employment bracket. Those who attended the function shared life experiences and successes to encourage each other. They also discussed how to market their businesses on various platforms on the internet. The meeting was attended by various speakers, among them the Keroche Brewery's CEO, Tabitha Karanja, and Google's head of marketing, Farzana Kubchandni.
It all adds up. All you need to do is kaza kisabuni, tell yourself, you know what, I'll get it done. And even if doors close, they're not permanently closed. I know that. You just need to build up your muscle, you just need to prove you can do it, and you just need to leverage your networks.
Another short break because the sports news is coming up, but we're getting lots of feedback on our story on twins. And no, I am not a twin. We have a twin in the family, but I'm not one, sadly.
And back home, the Lesotho national football team coach Matete Sefefe says the team will not be going for a draw despite having a 1-goal advantage against Kenya's Harambee Stars. Kenya will host Lesotho in a must-win Africa Cup of Nations return leg match tomorrow at the Nyayo National Stadium.
A draw of any kind in tomorrow's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier match will hand Lesotho the ticket to the group stages of the 2015 AFCON qualifiers. The Lesotho team that arrived in the country on Thursday held their final training session at the Nyayo National Stadium, the venue of the match against Harambee Stars, and their coach says they will be going for victory.
We are here for a win, while also a draw it will be a bonus to us. But firstly, we must plan to win the game. So if we don't win, then we will have a draw. But if you plan for a draw, that means one mistake, you'll lose.
Lesotho has never qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations and is ranked 131st in the current FIFA rankings. They bring a goal advantage from the first leg in Maseru 2 weeks ago.
It will be an entertaining game because Kenya will want to score more goals. If they want to qualify, they'll have to score more goals. So when scoring more goals, that means there will be a lot of entertainment for the spectators.
Sefefe admits that expectations are high back in Lesotho and that his 12-man squad is fit and with no injury concerns. He was quick to make a joke about the size of the Nyayo National Stadium.
The pitch is fine, but it's rather too big because at home we're not used to this big pitch like this one. So that means we'll have to change our tactics now because the pitch is too big. When the pitch is too big, that means lots and lots of space will be there. So we have to plan according to the pitch.
Harambee Stars will be playing without head coach Adel Amrouche and most of the international players and must win by at least 2 clear goals.
In Iten, Leonard Barston and Mercy Maros are the winners of the 5th edition of Iten road race held this morning. Barston won the 10 kilometers road race in 29 minutes, 51.39 seconds ahead of Cyprian Kotut, who was timed at 30 minutes and 19 seconds. Wilfred Kimitei completed the podium order. Mercy Maros won the women's race in a time of 34 minutes, 45.10 seconds. Alice Aprot and Gladys Chesira finished second and third respectively in times of 34 minutes 51 seconds and 34 minutes and 59.90 seconds. The race is one of the annual Safaricom Athletics Series. The next stop will be in Kisii Half Marathon, then Mombasa International Marathon.
Ni mwanadada anakuja kumaliza namba 1. Alafu Gasman 2014 Itendra.
And it is bulletins like these that make us very happy. I mean, there's been some good news throughout the
sometimes
evening.
I'm torn between being a journalist and being Kenyan, but I keep saying that nights when being a Kenyan are more dominant than being a journalist.
Absolutely.
And this is just one of those nights.
And this is the last day, though. So is that the last medal we're looking forward to?
I can't believe the Commonwealth Games
are over. I know.
Oh God, I don't know what
so
to do with
quickly
my life anymore. But then again, as you said, the English Premier League is starting.
Yes.
But the games are not yet over. Tonight, we could be getting another gold medal. Javelin. The YouTube man will be in action.
Yego.
Yeah. Yes.
Good stuff. All right. That's at about what?
I think
10:30?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Rooting for him. Rooting for him.
So Kenyans, wherever you are, please cheer him.
Yeah.
In the house, in the bars, everywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So of course, after this, it's off to
and of course there are people who probably do not know how many golds, how many silvers that we probably have. But I think for me, the main focus should be gold. We have 7. We got 2 tonight.
Yes.
So 7, 8, 9 gold medals.
Yay!
So far. So it's not bad.
Yeah.
Still, we didn't get to. We got 12 gold medals in Daegu, 9 this time. I mean, in New Delhi, 9 this time. Not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay. All right. Doing well. Let's hope football will be one day. We'll be talking about it like this, eh? Kenya doing us proud. Tomorrow. Kenya, Lesotho. Let's see what happens. Thank you so much for joining us on our bulletin tonight. Have a great night. My name is Ivana Kwara.
And I'm Lena Shadu. Have a good night.